All right, we're going to get into some of the libs of TikTok and this guy specifically. Sam Brinton, a drag queen and LGBTQ plus activist who was just hired to a top level position in the government. Here he is with his, I don't even know what you call these, dominatrix, damn daddy, dog slaves. This person that works for our government now has dog slaves. Kink 101 was amazing this year. This is the type of people on the government payroll. Horus the Avenger says this is what the end looks like.
Advocacy and Government Affairs. My name is Sam Brinton, and I serve as Head of Advocacy and Government Affairs for the Trevor Project. I find freedom to be a beautiful concept. Many of my friends say that sometimes I'm a little too free. I tend to be myself. The power of freedom is that ability to be oneself isn't necessarily hindered, but is rather celebrated.
To be oneself and to be free to be oneself means to be free to be a gender that you're not born. Or whatever made-up gender you want to come up with.
Gender-fluid individual who walks the halls of Congress. Talk about the power of being free every day to hear my stilettos click on those marble floors and yet know that I deserve to be in that room just as much as anybody else.
It's like, what's that other movie? Hunger Games. This reminds me of like Hunger Games when the freaks are in control.
I've been an advocate for ending conversion therapy for a very long time now, and state after state after state after state are signing these laws as late as this week, right? Like, we are truly watching a watershed moment where the power of politics is no longer being used to hurt me, but to help me. I am proud to have just got
the power of politics using to promote this agenda.
Married a few weeks ago. The greatest
what a weirdo. What is this?
Therapy known to mankind.
Disturbing.
The power of freedom.
Freedom. Does this make you like not like freedom? I've never thought that I could be anti-freedom when they're associating freedom with this. Oh my gosh. Just, yeah, narcissistic. Completely mentally ill and narcissistic. Libs of TikTok just shared this right before we went live. This was a great account that I was following. Defiant L's. They take liberals or anybody really, and they do one tweet and then a hypocritical tweet from the same person. That's all it takes to get banned. These people are such tyrants. The censorship online. It's funny too. I thought about it. Like, they've completely won the censorship of the internet. People were warning about internet censorship for like 2 decades. All the warnings fell on deaf ears. Everybody's been censored now. The crackdown, the power of the ADL with the censorship, the craziness of the liberals that have the power and the Republicans, they're all for censorship. And the value of free speech in America is just like completely subverted, that just twisted within like 20 years. Most people demanding everybody be censored that they don't like. So Libs of TikTok really finds, I found a TikTok the other day of a woman triggered that somebody at her coffee shop wouldn't take a sip of coffee and put the mask over in between sips. They picked that up. It got 170,000 views, but there's some other good ones I want to go through today. Just to see a glimpse of the madness of people out there. Elementary school counselor. This is who our kids are supposed to trust. I would never let her near my
Helps
kids.
Children develop.
Oh, my baby is not going to public school.
I teach my elementary school students about gender identity. Learning about gender identity helps children develop critical social emotional skills such as self-awareness, social awareness, and respect. I teach my students that there's a whole spectrum of gender identities and that everyone, whatever their gender, deserves love and respect. Some people.
So you're lying to children and you're programming children with your own perverted worldviews. That let me teach these children about sex, young kids about sex, and they can be whatever gender they want. Let me promote it as so cool and trendy. Oh, it's already settled. No way my daughter's going to public school.
People are girls, some are boys, some are both, some are neither. Gender is all about how we feel.
And then they get up on TikTok and make these videos about, oh, we're so inclusive and we're so loving and tolerant. And let me show off and virtue signal on how progressive and woke I am. Let me get some woke points. Sexual grooming. I know, White Falcon.
Feel on the inside and how we express ourselves. The most important thing I teach my students is that it's our job to listen to and learn from people when they share with us who they are, and that we need to.
So I'm a purple elephant. Sure you are, Timmy. A little 3-year-old girl says, I'm a boy. I like to play with trucks. Oh, you're a boy. Let's get you on some hormone therapy right away. Yeah, you're a boy. I've complained about this so many times, but Libs of TikTok is really one of the most blackpilling. They need to create a Christians of TikTok too, because the Christians are equally as cringe, but on the other side of the spectrum. And I think it's like I'm stuck between crazy leftists and crazy right-wing people. The kosher
use
sandwich.
The name and the pronouns that people ask us to use when we refer to them. Here are some of the books and tools that I found the most useful when teaching about gender identity. I teach my elementary.
Oh, hold on. What are your words? A book about pronouns. What are your words? Like, look at this. This looks like the cast of Lord of the Rings here. The diversity. My Rainbow by Trinity Deshawn Neal. Call me Max, which is probably a little boy. Neither. I'm neither. These. Oh my gosh, little books like this. This is the stuff that's like promoted at the end of the aisle at Target. Neither. Teaching a little kid, you don't have to be a bunny rabbit or a bird. You can be neither. You could be whatever you want to be. I know, I'm worried that Libs of TikTok will go down. Just posting their insanity is enough to get them censored. They, she, he, easy as ABC by Maya and Matthew. She, her, hers, he, him, him. This obsession with pronouns is, I'm just so scared to see. Like, I feel like I'm getting old now, coming up on 40. And when I was in my 20s, nothing like this was going on. You didn't see this anywhere. And now how fast it's exploded on the scene, it terrifies me what it's going to look like in another 10 to 20 years. I don't know if there's we're going to reach a point of no return when it comes to this stuff. When you raise when all the kids that were raised on this type of wokeness grow up and they're the ones that are the hall monitors and the censors and running companies, and what's the indoctrination going to look like? And then what's the next generation going to look like? All right, here's believing in gender binary is white supremacy. This is so great. They have so much material, too, on Libs of TikTok. Every day they probably post like 20 times, and every one of them is so disturbing.
I'm going to put aside the fact that those arguments, the arguments that it's for attention, that it's egotistical, that it's mental illness, have been used against binary trans people for as long as we have existed. We're going to put that aside because I know most of the people who will view this will be smarter than you. Let's look at another angle that people don't talk about enough. This is white supremacy.
White supremacy. That's who's to blame. You think that they're mentally ill? You think that they've got issues and they're victims of indoctrination? You're white supremacy. Of course, white people get blamed again too.
Is the insistence that the binary or slightly altered binary, now that, white trans people are becoming mainstream, to include they as the only single neutral.
It's like we got these lunatics that sit around all day obsessing over what their pronouns are and this gender fluidity, like the levels that they go on these things is unbelievable, the type of stuff that they're obsessing over. It's pure mental illness.
Pronoun we can use. That is white supremacy. For longer than me and you have been on this earth, for longer than transgender has been a word, there have been expressions of gender that do not mirror the binary. There have been a myriad of pronouns. There have been a myriad of language. There have been languages that don't even have gender. Do you understand? Do you understand that the way you think is not the way the rest?
Okay, just because there's a language that doesn't have gender built into it doesn't mean that there's not biological males and females.
the world thinks, and that your universal truth, what is true for you, is not true for every other goddamn person that lives on this earth.
They get to just make up their own truths. Doesn't matter if this guy has a penis. He's a female.
You imposing your rules of language, your rules of culture, your understanding on them is an incredibly stupid and somewhat violent thing to do.
Violent. So you accept all of this nonsense from them, or you're violent white supremacist.
And it is no different than the cisgender patriarchy, the oppression of trans people being put onto people like me and you.
This person's probably got millions of followers. All right, here's another one. Not wanting to date a trans person is transphobic. Oh, man. How many people are like this? I showed this the other day. Newsweek says 40% of U.S. Gen Z is LGBTQ and 30% of young Christians are LGBTQ. So much for Jesus saving us from this stuff, right?
So if the only reason you don't want to date someone boils down to the fact that they're trans, that's transphobia right there. Let's go over a couple of situations. So if you don't want to date a trans woman because you want kids, well, you better be keeping that same attitude with cis women who are infertile, or that's transphobia. If you don't want to date a trans woman because you're not attracted to trans women, I would absolutely love to know how you're able to identify correctly who is a trans woman on site 100% of the time, because that is just impressive. I wish I had that ability. I'd love to be able to have even more trans solidarity. And then also just being super straight is the all lives matter of sexualities. It's not.
Being straight is all lives matter. All lives matter, or white lives matter, is literally like the epitome of all evil to these lunatics. You don't want to marry a guy that's dressing up like a girl because you want to have kids, or you're not attracted to men with penises, and you're transphobic and you're evil and you'll be censored.
Not a real sexuality. It literally is just something that's made up to make fun of trans people and to hate on trans people. So, yes, super straights, I don't respect you and I don't respect that sexuality. Bye.
Oh,
so if the only
he doesn't respect straight people. Dollar store flow. Dollar store flow. That's funny. Oh man, this is creepy. So creepy. 500,000 views. Why are these people so insistent on trying to force others to date him? Totally sane human being. Oh my gosh. Demon self are the pronouns on this one.
You know, my pronouns are, because it is National Pronouns Day, I'm just letting you know my pronouns are he, him, and demon self. But if you don't know how to use if you don't know how to use noun self pronouns, you can always look up how to use like certain noun self pronouns.
Okay, I don't want to hear anybody tell me. I don't hate these people. I feel very bad for these people. I feel like they're victims of chemical abuse, poisons in the water, and indoctrination, or they've been abused as children to get like this. Demon self, like people just sit on Twitter or TikTok all day like, this is my gender, I made up all these genders, and then we say there's something wrong with them and we're the bad ones.
If you don't know how to use noun self pronouns, you can always look up how to use like certain noun self pronouns. But
I'll look that up right away.
Said, you can just use he, him for me. No they, them though. No she, her. So yeah, happy National Pronouns Day, and make sure you respect people's pronouns. And if you don't, know someone's pronouns, just because it is National
Make sure to respect
Day.
people's pronouns. Only 60,000 views on that one. These teachers need to be purged from our school. Let's check this one out.
I'm like very out at work. At least at my teaching job, I'm very out. I wear my pronouns and stuff, and I'm like, I like correct the kids, and the kids have gotten to like correcting each other.
Perfect. Correct the kids about what pronoun you want to be used at. Why? It's so creepy how they always do target the children so much. Yeah, it is sad. It's sexual trauma. They've been abused mentally or physically or sexually?
Awesome today. I was in charge of our like activity, and one of the kids
in charge. Do you hear that? She gets off on being in charge of the kids.
Me as a girl, and one of my kids was like, Jamie doesn't have a gender. Jamie's not a girl. Oh my God.
There needs to be some kind of bill, a law, where people with this agenda targeting children shouldn't be anywhere near children. No gender indoctrination on any children throughout school, 18 years and younger. Nobody should have to hear about this. I made it from a little kid to 18 years old and never once heard about pronouns. This didn't used to be a thing. And now it's just like so front and center in our culture.
And like the kid was just like, what do you mean? And she was just like, Jamie doesn't have a gender. Jamie is not a girl.
I like the way that has me is so emotional. Like, she like even like said the pronouns to him. Oh my God. She was like, Jamie's they. She's 8. My 52-year-old parents still fucking call me she after being out for 3 years.
Oh my God.
I like just told really started correcting the kids back in like September.
Enabling this behavior only makes it so much worse too. Enabling it is encouraging it.
Like that was like so awesome. That was just like so awesome. Like I've like never felt more loved than like when I am with my kids.
Wow.
Like they like correct each other. Are you kidding me?
Never felt more love than with the kids. The reason they prey on children is because they're young and innocent and defenseless. This one's got 1 million views. I haven't watched it all the way through. This is the final stage of wokeness is the title.
The assumption that the best protein comes from corpses is a racist belief. How do you know the animal would have picked you to feed off their corpse?
Oh my gosh. Did she just say it's racist to think that animal protein is different than plant protein?
Comes from corpses is a racist belief. How do you know the animal would have picked you to feed off their corpse? 21st century animal eating requires our complicity in a new colonialism. These events especially affect girls and young women. Your hamburger comes with a dose of misogyny.
Oh my gosh. Hamburgers are misogyny. What is this at like Oxford Debate Center or something? What is this? Who are these judges up here?
Popular culture is flooded with references to sexy cows, sexy pigs, sexy chickens.
Hold on. Our culture is inundated with sexy cows and chickens and pigs. What the fuck is she talking about? What is she talking about? This girl's looking like this lady is crazy.
Popular culture is flooded with references to sexy cows, sexy pigs, sexy chickens, sexy fishes, who all just want to have fun. Meat eating is also one of the ways gender-based structures of oppression are perpetuated.
Gender-based structures of oppression? What does gender and eating meat have anything to do with one another? This is even crazier than I thought it was going to be. No wonder it just got 1 million views.
Masculinity, a construct of the gender binary facing constant destabilization.
Masculinity is just a gender construct. See, men aren't really masculine. That's just a construct.
Feels always under threat, and eating animals is its protection racket.
They want, oh God, white supremacy. They want everybody on a soy diet so they don't get the testosterone and the creatine and the nutrients from meat to build muscle.
White supremacists weaponized it, eating meat, eggs, and dairy, and the baiting of liberal men as so-called soy boys are all part of the neo-Nazi messaging.
Neo-Nazi! Wow. You talk about soy boys and you're a neo-Nazi. Oh my gosh. Is she serious? This woman's probably like, she looks tribal, first of all. She's probably a tenured professor, probably makes 100,000 a year or more. Probably deeply respected at her school. Wow.
Supremacist weaponized is its protection racket. White supremacists weaponized it, eating meat, eggs, and dairy.
White supremacists weaponized eating meat, eggs, and dairy. Insane. Absolutely insane.
And the baiting of liberal men as so-called soy boys are all part of the neo-Nazi messaging.
Neo-Nazi. Neo-Nazi. I love how it's just like, you know, what does 1930s Germany have to do with men eating soy and having soy boy faces? And literally, like the guy we watched a minute ago, not having any masculinity, any testosterone, and just being genderless, binary freaks. I can't believe I just heard that. She's totally deathly serious.
To say you care about animals is considered a sign of weakness in a world still committed to the gender binary. Meat eaters like anti-abortionists have forgotten that one quality of non-existence is not having awareness about existence.
You can, gender binary and eating meat have nothing to do with one another. You could be, you could think that the gender stuff is crazy and still think that eating meat is normal, or that you want better treatment for animals or something. Like, it's a non sequitur. They got nothing to do with one another.
When all else fails, meat eaters assert that animals are not our equals. I heard all your laughter. I know some of these must be new ideas, or you think they're fringe or whatever.
Yeah.
Our whiteness is part of the problem of meat eating.
Wow. Wow. Now you're a neo-Nazi if you want to eat meat. Like, this woman is respected, like her point of view up here at this Oxford debate stage. Unbelievable. What a hag. What a delusional, psychopathic hag. Total clown world. The libs of TikTok says, holy shit, they aren't even trying to hide their racism. This is psychotic. Watch this one. 1.2 million views.
First of all, libs of TikTok, let me tell you something. If you're in here, or y'all go run back and tell them, y'all ain't got to tell them that nobody else said shit but me. I'm going to say this, and you ain't got to chop shit up. I am for the white genocide. I am for the total erasure of the white race. You don't have to chop this up. Yes, I am for all of you white bitches dying like flies. I am for it. I am for it. I support it.
Where's the ADL? Like, something like this would be if somebody was saying this about Jews, it would be all the Jewish organizations, the ADL, there would be censorship. These people would be fired from all their jobs. There would be articles about all of them. People are able to get away with anti-white attitudes like this all the time. We should use the same argument that the Jews use. Oh, any anti-white sentiment will lead to violence, will lead to bloodshed. We have to ban it all. Meanwhile, the anti-white stuff is promoted nonstop. To even defend ourselves from it, you get banned, you get demonized and dehumanized. We're in big trouble. All this is so clear that we're in big trouble.
I'm for putting all you white possums in a gas chamber and letting that motherfucker ring, bitch. I am for it. So you don't have to chop shit up. I'm for it, and I'm going to stand 10 toes down behind it, bitch. Simple as that. So you got to chop shit up. You ain't got to screw the shit. Bitch, I said it, and I stand on it. Simple. First of all,
oh, wow. How many? 1.2 million views. The name of the Twitter space was "You Two People Deserve Nothing." All right, here's a thread of racist, anti-racist rantings to remind you that this little experiment is driving people to public madness. Oh yeah, this is all coming from this indoctrination too. Black people wouldn't normally be talking like this all over the internet. They've been programmed by entertainments and the people that control that to target all of their hate and their hostility towards white people. This girl says all Europeans are racist, apparently.
I keep getting this comment and I have to address it because the way that European, non-American white people think they're absolved of racism and other problems in the world is astounding. Okay, America's only like 250 years old, baby. So where do you think racism stemmed from? Where did racism stem from? Let's critically think for a second. I've lived in Europe 3 different times and I've been to like 9, 10 different countries in Europe. Across the board racist. Across the board racist. Okay, and this includes Spain and Italy, because Spanish and Italian people like to think, oh, because they got a little bit of melanin, and they put some spice in their food, they can't be racist. No, all y'all be racist as fuck.
All white people are racist. All Europeans are born racist. This is the Jewish construct. Amalek, Esau hates Jacob. We're born hating them. We're born evil and racist. And this was just inevitable that once this is the narrative that's being repeated everywhere, that people are going to start regurgitating it and believing it. It's not called social engineering for nothing. So, this is incredibly disturbing child abuse. And this is social engineering. This is indoctrination. This is sexualizing children. And this is a sick, agenda-driven agenda that's just going to end up in disaster. It's already ending up in disaster. Watch this.
I lied. B is for bye. C is for coming out. D is for drag. E is for equality. F is for family. Uh-oh, we missed the page. G is for gay. H is for hope. I is for intersex. J is for joy. I missed the page. K is for
I find it particularly manipulative how they'll do a word like, what was that, intersex, and then joy. Like they're mixing joy and feelings in with these terms. Like I didn't learn about even regular sex until like what, 5th, 6th, 7th grade maybe. And now they're pushing it on children as early as when they can talk. Implanting these ideas in their mind when their brains are so early and developmental. These are sick parents abusing their children. And this is accelerating so fast. Just imagine where this is going to go. What the world, America, is going to look like in the next 10 years on the trajectory that we're heading right now.
L is for.
And the fact that she's doing it on social media for virtue signal points also.
Lesbian.
I said, normally I'm against censorship, but this is the type of book that I think should be prohibited. 100%.
M is for Latin. N is for non-binary.
And it's not because I don't want kids to grow up accepting weirdos out there. Of course, there's always going to be some weirdos, but pushing this like they're doing to young children is going to make so many more of them. They're so suggestive. They're so easily manipulated. They're so vulnerable.
O is for orientation. Very good. P is for hands. Q is for I don't know what Q. That's okay. Q is for queer. Queer. R is for respect. S is for sachet. Sachet.
What is sachet? Anybody in the chat?
Friends. Very good. U is for unique. Z is
like, what, 10, 15 years ago, they were just like, oh, we just want to get married. We just want to have same-sex marriage. We just want to have equal rights. And they were like, no, this is going to lead to all these bad things and pedophilia and trans children and drag story time. Oh, that's slippery slope. Don't worry about it. You're just being a bigot. And look at where we're at.
is for Vogue. You know how to Vogue? Yeah, you do? Yeah. That was pretty good. Okay, turn the page. W is for Wonder. X is for X. Mm-hmm. Y is for U. And Z is for Zems. Zest. Zest.
These terms, too. Of all the wonders in the universe, he could be learning about the planets. He could be learning about math. He could just be learning vocab words besides these words like zest. This is what you're going to teach on your young, impressionable child?
E.N. What was the name of this book? The Gay BCs. You like this book? Yeah.
Gay BCs, as he clenches his teeth and goes, yes. He wants to go play with trucks. He wants to go throw the ball around. And you're trying to... It gets worse, too. Remember this one the other day? This one's even more sickening. This one is so... Like, how does this guy... He puts it up on TikTok and it gets millions of views and he's a celebrity. And he's hailed for how brave he is. Yet, when I see this, I feel like the FBI should be knocking on his door and locking him up in an insane asylum. In prison.
So you are a transgender boy, you know what that means?
So you were born a girl, but you feel like a boy, right? That kind of means you're transgender. Okay? And that's okay, but that's just the term for it. Do you like doing quiet girly activities, or do you like jumping around and being crazy and tackling everybody?
Boy activities.
Boy activities.
So you are a transgender boy, you know what
Boy activity. See, he's trans. He likes to do fun stuff. The little girl that likes to play with the boys. She hasn't even started going through puberty at all yet. Telling her, yeah, see, how manipulative that is. I feel like I just witnessed literal, like, sexual child abuse. And this is so sick because they know, this is well documented, and they're always talking about how people who have these gender dysmorphia problems, mental issues, that they're very depressed and they're suicidal and they're ostracized and they live in hell, a lot of them. And they're trying to do this and give this to people because they're messed up, because they were abused, and they're passing it along. So many people that get abused end up abusing others. Biden supports all this stuff. Says, yeah, 8-year-olds, Biden said, should be able to transition. 8-year-olds. Pink news, CJ is 13 years old and thinks that gender is over. Of course, there's Desmond is amazing as well. He goes to Good Morning America and dances like he's a drag queen, a little boy like a little girl. And all the adults are there clapping and celebrating and hailing him as some celebrity. Yeah, it is. And not to mention Hollywood's full of child molesters, and there's perverts out there that just totally get off on this stuff. And then the world is so inverted that if you're against this, they make it seem like you're the evil one. I'm trying to protect the children from this insanity.
Are we ready?
Yeah.
Ready. We're ready for Pride.
It's always these parents, too, that are like on social media. They're always the same way, too. It's like, how many times does some weird, sexual couple adopt a kid and, oh, what a surprise, their kid's also transgender. Who would imagine? What a coincidence.
Are we ready?
Yeah.
Ready. We're ready for Pride.
Hi, I'm CJ Duran. I'm 13 years old and I'm gender creative. My gender identity is male and my gender expression is female. I've been gender creative my whole life, but this is
like the new trendy thing. A little kid wants to get attention. It's the parents that are all enabling it though, and the adults. Kids at school would say, "What are you doing?" Kids instinctively know that there's something not right with this. Yet the media, social media, pop culture, celebrities, Hollywood moms, all their kids are like gender neutral and stuff.
who I am. To me, gender is over. We don't really need it. Like, it's kind of unnecessary.
A girl like this doesn't just come up with an idea like that on her own. That is an idea that is implanted into her by a sick, predatory monster.
I'm in middle school now, but in my old school, elementary school, I changed it so PE wasn't separated between boys and girls, and I changed the dress code for 26 schools so it wasn't separated between boys' clothes and girls' clothes.
The sexualizing the young children, like little girls shouldn't be dressing up like these drag queens, like the boys are.
I am currently the youngest Grand Marshal in Pride history. I was Grand Marshal for OC Pride. It was really magical. It felt really powerful and like a...
Other young kids see this and they just want to emulate it. They know, these social engineers know what they're doing. This is not happening by accident. This isn't just tolerance and progressivism. This is a sick agenda. And I'm going to talk about where I think it's originating from and what's behind it here in a second.
And it's really cool to be kind of like a leader. It's very important for young kids to see that there's kids like them. So it's really awesome that I was able to be the Grand Marshal and they can see me and know that they're not alone.
Roll sound. And go for it, CJ.
My advice for other LGBTQ kids is to stand out from the crowd and be unique, and it's good to be unique and find friends that really support you no matter what. Some of my favorite hobbies and activities to do outside of school is hair, makeup, shopping, styling outfits, and hanging out with friends.
Okay, seen enough of that. Now, look at this. HBO, new program celebrating child abuse. This boy here is 4 years old. His parents decided that he is, quote, gender expansive. Later, they decide he's a girl. Here we go.
Emily slid into a shiny yellow dress, while Jacob wiggled into a sparkly pink dress. "What are you wearing?" asked Mom. "It's like a dress. I made it." Dad frowned. "You can't go to school with that. Put on some shorts and a shirt under that dress thing," Mom said, "and hurry."
She's really got her with the same little haircut as her.
"We're late for school." "You're never late for school, are you?" "Because you're
Homeschooled.
"Let's get the sewing machine," she said finally. Jacob felt the air refill his body.
Now, this is an argument against homeschool, I think you could say.
He grinned. Mom smiled back. "There are all sorts of ways to be a boy," she said.
Hold on, hang in there, guys. I know this is torture and disgusting, instinctual. It's just naturally disgusting to see this stuff. It's revolting. Yet, I'm going to talk about how it's connected to Kabbalah here in a second.
Right?
Wait, I'm going and also.
You're a rainbow.
And I'm also
HBO. I wonder who. We all know who owns HBO, right?
clothes.
You are wearing your clothes, so they are boy clothes. Dad looked up from his book.
Yeah.
Okay, those are girl clothes. They can be whatever you want.
I am a girl boy.
Emily slid into a shiny yellow dress.
It hurts me to hear her say that.
Sparkly pink dress.
Wait a
"What are you
second.
wearing?"
How long
asked
is?
Mom.
Oh,
It's like a dress.
just restarted. I got
made
it. I'm a girl boy. Disgusting. It's sad. Here we go. HBO promoting and normalizing the most horrific forms of child abuse with its Trans Hood documentary. If you have HBO, cancel it. Don't give your money to this evil.
Good morning. Today we choose to recognize, honor, love, and celebrate anyone here who would claim their identity publicly as lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, queer or questioning, intersex, pansexual, asexual, or any category that I've left out.
Whoa, what
This
is that?
Phoenix. You're a little shy. Do you want to tell everyone if you're a boy or a girl?
Oh my.
I just want to tell them that I'm a girl.
Okay, you can tell them that. Okay. Phoenix would like you to know that she's a girl and she prefers she and her pronouns.
Oh, that's another thing. The pronouns, like all the politicians and all these like celebrities and stuff are putting pronouns in their bios, and when they introduce themselves, they put in their pronouns. Like we're trying to normalize it in the language so that it's just ubiquitous everywhere, all around us. The new norm, the Overton window, purposely being shifted in a direction by the hidden hand.
This way. May you be well, safe, and whole. We honor you exactly as you are.
And, you know, the people that are most vehemently against this seem to be Christians. You do not have to be Christian to be revolted by child abuse like this. It's not like a black or white situation. Here we go. NBC News, raising they bees, letting kids choose their gender. It's ridiculous. Look at this. Jules Gill Peterson says, give puberty blockers for free to young people without parental consent. The end. 6,000 likes for a comment like that. Giving puberty, changing the biology, changing the hormones of young children. It has such terrible effects too. People have remorse and regret and want to go back. It's irreversible, the damage that's done when you do something like that. I mean, a kid doesn't have the right to consent to sexual relations or to other rights. Yet they can't go get a tattoo, yet they can take puberty blockers. They want taxpayer money to pay for sex changes and pay for puberty hormone therapies. And the rest of us have to pay for this with our tax dollars, and we don't have a right to say no? Come on, what is going on here? Okay, San Francisco Elementary School creates gender-neutral bathrooms for schools. You can't get away from it. Here we have, man, Daily Mail's ads are the worst, always. BBC sex education program tells 9-year-olds there are, quote, over 100 genders, and shows kids talking to adults about bigender, genderqueer, and pansexual identities. Film also tells children that becoming transgender is a, quote, a way to be, quote, happy. Makes no mention of medical intervention some trans children go. Disney, Nickelodeon promote LGBTQ agenda to kids. Look into who owns those. Nickelodeon is Orthodox Jewish owner of Viacom, airing pride ads for the first time. Here's one of them. Nickelodeon, did you know the history behind the LGBTQ plus rainbow flag? They want everybody to be aware at an early age. This is out today at a New York Post. Gay poly throuple makes history. Lists 3 dads on a birth certificate. I wonder if this kid's going to have any problems. Of course, Biden appointed Secretary Levin, Rachel Levin, a gay Jewish man who thinks he's a woman, is there appointed by Biden as the Secretary of Health. Somebody with a mental illness. This was top trending the other day because Rand Paul questioned her about sex changes in children. Listen to her voice, too. His voice, I should say.
Happened to them. And, you know, if you've ever been around children, 14-year-olds can't make this decision. In the gender dysphoria clinic in England, 10% of the kids are between the ages of 3 and 10. We should be outraged that someone's talking to a 3-year-old about changing their sex. I can't vote for you if you can't make a decision.
Thank you so much, Senator Paul. Senator Levine, thank you for answering the question. I will turn to Senator Baldwin.
Happened to them. And, you know.
Oh, at least somebody said it. He was, man, I wish I had the clip of her voice. I thought that one would play her voice in it. Let's see if we can find something real quick here of voice. Maybe not. Keep saying her. I should say, I should be defiant and say he, and then pretty soon that'll be against the law. So they're trying to do, right? Anyway, we don't have to do that. Kabbalah, what Q&A, what does Kabbalah say about gender, identity, sexuality? The wisdom of Kabbalah explains gender neutrality. Check this out. Why do millions of men and women identify as gender neutral? Here's a different kind of explanation. Humanity is reaching a new stage. A desire for spiritual fulfillment motivates masses of people, conscious of it or not, fulfill this new spiritual desire correctly, develops their spiritual identity. That means that while remaining in the physical body, and mind you, this is from Kabbalah Info, Kabbalah.info. This means that while remaining in the physical body, be it male or female, along with its sexual tendencies, whatever they may be, spiritual self develops above the biological. In that state, the masculine and feminine elements which exist within each of us harmoniously. Nature is built for two, male and female, plus and minus, hot and cold. Two opposite forces. Every soul is male and female bound together as one, says the book of the Zohar. That's Kabbalah. The soul has no gender. Growing gender neutrality movement of our times is a glaring symptom that we must fulfill our lack of spiritual identity. Therefore, we can harmonize male and female on the material level alone. Christopher John Bjorkness has a book, Beware the World to Come. The whole first chapter, he gets into the androgyny connections to Kabbalah. And with his permission, I put up the whole first chapter. It's up on brand new tube right now. It's read in the robot voice with Google Books. The whole book is available paperback or ebook in the link below, but he goes into the androgyny agenda. It's about it's almost an hour, the whole first chapter. And anybody that wants to see the Kabbalah connections, it explained unlike anywhere else with tons of footnotes. Check out the link, and I'm going to put it up on BitChute too eventually. But let's also go here. Just a little preview into it. Was Adam a hermaphrodite? This is the Jewish Daily Forward, and the answer is yes, yes he is. Genesis 1:27 refers to Adam as it and them in the same sentence, male and female created in the image of God. The rabbis understood this to mean that Adam was created as an intersex being, a hermaphrodite. Adam was constituted as an intersex being was debated. Rabbi held that Adam was an androgen, while another rabbi said Adam was more like a conjoined male-female. Here's the passage in the Talmud. Midrashic and tradition modern students of both understand Genesis as depicting the Adam as having been created an intersexed being. Here's Sepharia, the Talmudic Sepharia. Androgynous myth, the creation of Adam and Eve. We also have Dr. Bronner's, which is a Zionist soap company. See, Zionist ideals by the founder, like one world religion, supports Israel. They fly the rainbow flag all year round to support LGBTQ. They hired this woman that works for the LGBTQIA. We are proud to support gender illumination. They're transcending binary thinking in society. There she is. This is the type of stuff that they're promoting and glorifying. Ariel Vegosin, working part-times for Dr. Bronner's soap company, running in-store demos and events. She runs gender illumination from her home office in Berkeley. Gender Bender Smoothie Party and Safer Space Play Party are some of the events she has. And birthing parents who live outside the binary. So she gives workshops, nonprofits, faith-based. Part of her gender journey has been digging into her own ancestry, learning that her ancestral background teaches about gender. As a Jewish person, she had studied the 8 genders found in the Talmud, and she's excited to know that there is historical evidence in her own background of humans living outside the binary. It's actually, according to JTA, it's 8 genders in the Talmud. And just so you know, Bjerknes' book, I'll play here a second so you'll get an idea what it's like.
Christopher John Bjerknes, Beware, the World to Come, 2nd edition, revised, enlarged and illustrated. 1 Androgyny Agenda. There is a lot of strange talk these days about genders. For anyone over 50, gender confusion appears to be something new. In the old days, things were simpler. Kids were taught that there were duality states. Franz von Bader, 1765.
It has to do with their Kabbalistic androgynous gods, Shekinah, the female, and the Kabbalah tree of life, and Yahweh, and he gets into Adam Kadmon. That's another Kabbalistic creation myth of an androgynous god. He gets deep. Secret Jewish History of the Matrix basically just says there's a lot of Judaism allegories in it. Somebody says, when I was watching the film, she kept getting messianic feels like Neo was the Messiah, the one man to come save everybody. Here's another Rabbi Torah Anytime, Rabbi Gaon on the Matrix and Kabbalah. So Matrix, and remember, the Matrix movies that came out right before 9/11, on his birthday, Neo's birthday, on his driver's license is September 11th, 2001. Maybe that's the expiration date. Yeah, it's expiration date. September 11th, 2001. We saw many instances of this being coded throughout Hollywood, as well as other predictive programming, much of it coming from Arnon Milchan, the admitted Israeli secret agent, Mossad agent, the Hollywood billionaire that made Medusa Touch with the plane flying into the building and Fight Club. Buildings collapsing right before 9/11 came out. So Matrix, we have September 11th. And then remember the Animatrix movie. This is in 2003. It's an anime cartoon produced by the Wachowskis, Lana and Lily Wachowski. And check out all of the Zionist connections in here. The Second Renaissance, Animatrix. So you go into your Shekinah, your woman goddess figure, into the Zion mainframe.
Welcome to the Zion Archive.
The Zion
You have
Archive.
selected historical file number 12-1.
Yeah, I've shown this before. The theme is that they come up with artificial intelligence, and then the robots become too powerful, and then they have a robot holocaust. Here's the robot holocaust, see? And then the robots rise from as soon as they're at their lowest depths, they arise from the Holocaust and rebuild and birth a new nation in the cradle of civilization. Watch this.
Banished from humanity.
Banished from humanity. This is all allegorical for the Holocaust, the chosen people in Israel, dominating the world with advanced technology. And this was in 2003 that this came out. And since then, Israel has catapulted themselves, thanks to America, thanks to stealing our technology, thanks to our politicians selling out our secrets. Israel is cybersecurity dominance, tech dominance, backdoors and everything. What a coincidence. They got it so right. Check this out.
Banished from humanity, the machines sought refuge in their own promised land. They settled in the cradle of human civilization, and thus a new nation was born. A place the machines could call home. A place they could raise their descendants. And they christened the nation 01. 01 prospered, and for a time, it was good. The machine's artificial intelligence could be seen in every facet of man's society.
Artificial intelligence, and then their tech starts dominating the world, and then the whole world and the UN gets mad at them and comes against them, Gog and Magog. And then, obviously, Matrix ends up enslaving the humans, a.k.a. enslaving and eliminating the Gentiles. The Gentiles. Who that represents. Okay, what are we moving on to next? So that's androgyny, Kabbalah agenda. Moving on now. World Economic Forum. They said, oh, COVID shut everything down. Lockdowns are quietly improving cities around the world. Earth's seismic noise has been lowest in decades due to lockdowns. And they're like, we got too much blowback about this. We had to expose the agenda and our motives a little too much. So they say, we're deleting this tweet. Lockdowns aren't, quote, quietly improving cities around the world, but they are an important part of public health response to COVID. So people are eating them up in the comments still. But this is what I wanted to play the other day, but ran out of time. The mark of the beast being tested out in the lab of Israel. Don't forget your passport, says the World Economic Forum. Check this out. Israel, you'll need a COVID-19 vaccine pass to visit gyms, theaters, and hotels. You get the green pass after 2 doses of the vaccine. Or if you've had COVID-19 you are presumed immune. Some venues are using facial recognition technology. Funny how it's all the things that they called us conspiracy theorists for when the ADL attacked us. They all said this was conspiracies, none of this was going to happen. And of course, here it all is. To verify pass holders' identities. They're doing that in China already. Israel has vaccinated almost half its population. But none of the Palestinians. Boom, boom. Saturday Night Live, just kidding. Sunday it reopened many sectors to everyone. Are they going to heal the world? Are they going to be the light unto the nations and show the world how to open back up? And the Great Reset, Shavos and Davos World Economic Forum is extremely close with Israel and Israel's advanced technology, as we're seeing here, and we're going to see in the next clip. Gyms, hotels, and theaters are only open to those with a pass. Vaccine passports have proved controversial. Supporters say they restore freedom to people who don't pose a health risk. Everybody loves freedom, right? Everybody wants more freedom. Bringing major social and economic benefits. It could be discriminatory. Yeah. Private health data being misused. How about an untested vaccine pushed on everybody that has horrible lifelong side effects on many people. That could be bad too, right? What do you think about vaccine passports? I'm against. I bet you everybody in the chat says they're against too. Yeah, 800 likes and 2,000 quote tweets. So that's definitely a ratio. Now, World Economic Forum also tells you, oh, well, agriculture and meat is causing climate change and the cows are farting too much. So we need to have genetically modified 3D printed DNA meat from Israel, of course. Scientists in Israel are creating plant-based meat that has fat, blood, and muscles. Ooh, doesn't that delicious? Mimicking the structure of an entire cow. These steaks are 3D printed by powerful 3D printers, printing different layers to replicate real meat.
We analyze the different components that make those beautiful cuts and try to figure out which are the key components that we need to mimic in order to achieve those beautiful cuts of meat. We identified 3 main components: the muscle, the blood, and the fat. These are the components that we need to mimic in order to reach the perfect, beautiful steak.
Machines can print up to 6 kilos of aim is to make the equivalent of meat from 1 cow every day. It looks like icing. Test steaks in restaurants later this year. Industrial scale 3D printers to meat in 2021. Remember how as soon as COVID hit, it was like, oh, there's a meat shortage. We've got no meat. We got no coins either all of a sudden.
Cuts, just as a cow can produce that in a much more efficient way with a lower cost, and of course it's much better for the environment.
Help with global food shortages, lowering greenhouse gas emissions. You know, all the elite will still be eating their deluxe Wagyu $200 a pound steaks, living in luxury. There's a long way to go before high-tech alternative meat is printed or lab-grown on a mass scale. Long way, but this was just like a month ago. All right. So that's January. Wait, when did this come out? Third date? November 23rd. So they're like, it's going to be a while. And oh, here we go. Here's the first ribeye. 3D printed steak. And they've already got this imitation like Impossible Burger and soy burgers and stuff. We wonder why we have so many feminized soy boys. Well, we got the endocrine disruptors, the BPA. We got all the soy. We got all the radiation on the testicles. Who knows what else is going on here? All the microplastics everywhere. Yes, I have a Telegram. Links are in my BitChute videos. World's first 3D printed. I'm gonna have a steak. I'm hungry for steak. Using a 3D bioprinter. This is like out of a dystopian Matrix film. Cells are harvested, arranged in layers by the 3D printer. How about they get started with 3D printed hearts and organs first? Get that working and save people's lives before you start messing around with forcing us to eat this stuff. They grow into different building blocks of meat, such as muscle and fat. Would you guys eat that? Giving the same texture as ribeye from the cow. Ribeye is my favorite steak. Aleph Farms. Aleph, isn't Aleph the a Hebrew letter for A? Oh, global taste for meat is hurting the environment. No more meat for you guys. Remember the predictions for the future that the World Economic Forum had? They said America's not going to be a superpower, and a bunch of other countries are going to also dominate the world, like Russia, Israel, China, all led by Israel. Bill Gates. So while this is going on, Bill Gates, who invests in Beyond Meat, and it's funny because he quietly cashed out Beyond Meat stock right before its epic crash. How about that? So is this? Are they trying to? What are you insinuating, observer? What are you observing here? That he did insider trading, pump and dump. Anyway, while he's promoting, saying all rich countries should move to 100% plant-based beef and investing in plant-based burgers, he also just happens to be America's top farmland owner. That's January 2021. 3 days ago, New York Post, why Bill Gates is now U.S. biggest farmland owner. Oh, and World Economic Forum also said, you'll own nothing and you'll be happy. No land for you, for the proletariat. No private property, you know, like the Marxist communist doctrine stated, the manifesto. Yeah, I see you guys in the chat. I forgot to mention Bill Gates hanging with Epstein. Bill Gates doing a lot of technology with Microsoft over in Israel. Put 2 and 2 together. That's all I'm saying.